Palestinians from West Bank came into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and blew up buses. Suicide bombers blew up buses, blew up cafes, restaurants. It was a very, very dark time to be in Israel. Like there was conversations in Israel basically how do we solve this problem by how do we get Palestinians to not kill themselves and blow themselves up? Fine. But either way, some of them have a particular ideology that says I'm going to blow myself up and I'm going to go to heaven and God's going to be really pleased with me if I go and slaughter Jews.
Oh,
And
so we get
it's
to
not
just
good.
discriminate against an entire group of people.
That yeah, it's
Yeah,
kind of
what?
I'm sorry to
Wait,
say
you just said it.
you
You
put
just
the
said
ball.
it. You just said it. I
Yeah, but
heard. You just said yes.
bear in mind, bear in mind,
You just
bear in
said
mind
yes.
this group.
So wait. No. Pause. Pause. So
Shut the fuck up. You have no clue of the slightest. You're getting your information from Discord
oh, here
servers and
we go with
bot
the
chat. Go read,
gaslighting.
go
Here
read.
we go with the gaslighting. Fuck
You
out of
you
here.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just gaslight me some more. I have no
You
clue what
you
I'm
want
talking about. Let me get all my
you wanna see
information from you.
what are you asking for? Documents that the IDF captured from
Okay. So we wanted to do. We'll start with yours. What are the roots of the conflict, and then we can do ending the occupation and ensuring equal rights are key to lasting peace. So you can go ahead
okay,
and
what
start with the root conflict, I guess.
okay, what do you think is the root conflict?
Uh, I mean, are you asking what action or who?
What is your opinion the reason for the conflict is?
I would say Zionism, I guess, as a broad
And
concept.
what is Zionism then?
The belief that it's like the political and religious belief that Mount Zion is the homeland of like the Jewish people in simple terms.
Okay, but that's not I mean the Arabs and Muslims can accept that definition. Like they in the Quran it's written 22 times, you know, about the 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 people of Israel. They are both Abrahamic religions. So that's something that the Arabs can accept that
Well,
Jews
I
that
think
that used to be Jews' homeland.
well to be more specific, I think it's not just Zionism. I want to be clear. It's not just Zionism. It is definitely multifaceted. So it's like Zionism plus all of the different circumstances that had risen to basically, well, as far as like why it's being done, it's I would say it's ideological. But as far as how, there's many different answers to that. And one of the main ones I would say would be the British coming and colonizing, because before the British came there was no fighting, there was just high tensions.
Before the British came, there was fighting in the Ottoman period.
There was? I mean, according to everything that I know, there wasn't.
There were uh, attacks on the Jews. There were pogroms on the Jews in
Mm.
Israel. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I wasn't. I was talking to my girlfriend. Let me just.
And
So I mean,
I think even to some degree,
no. So there was no. Let
the
me
Ottomans.
clarify. So there was no large scale violent conflict between Jews and Arabs.
Well, there wasn't. There were. I can agree to that, but there was violence. There may not be a large scale violence because um, it was still like there wasn't that many people at the time, and the Arabs thought that they could just harass Jews till they leave eventually on their own. Or when Jews in Israel like were a bit more formalized, a bit more organization, a bit more structure, then it became more violent. But it was always the case that Arabs attacked Jews, desecrated their bodies as sort of threat or humiliation to the other Jews in the area. And it was never the case that it was peaceful per se. And I think
Well,
even in the Ottoman era, in the Ottoman period, where Jews were starting to return, there were always like a presence of Jews in Israel. Where Jews were starting to return, the Ottomans kind of persuaded Arabs from Egypt and Syria to come into that area so that the Jews won't outnumber the local population of Arabs.
so I mean, you don't think that this is like what? Let
Well,
me ask you this.
you said ideological.
Yes,
Can you explain what you mean by that?
no, because of Zionism. So like, the goal of Zionism is to be at Mount Zion or as close to it. So like, the the fact that people are using this to justify, harming people's lives, like, even like at first, like, my understanding is that the purchasing of land was legal, just that it was overbearing because of how how many people it would displace. But then once the British came and they colonized it, they supported Israel and its policies. And if you ask me, that was just basically the the lighter that lit the gas. And
So
yeah, just, like,
yeah, go ahead.
it was fueled by Zionism, basically, just to bring it back to how does that have to do
So
with
why would Arabs have a problem that Israel that Jews are living in Israel in Mount Zion?
why would our because they were currently living there when they were being displaced by when the Jews returned. I'm
Um, well,
it's
if you say
possible that they could have been there, really really long ago, but they left. They went to Europe and other parts of the world.
if you say if well they went all over the world. If you say Mount Zion, if you mean Jerusalem proper, Jerusalem proper always had a a majority of Jews than any other uh, ethnicity or religion.
Okay, and
Always.
that's fine. There's not a
And
problem with that, but
until they were kicked out of Jerusalem in 1948 by the Jordanians and ethnically cleansed from it, there were always a majority Jews in Jerusalem. Like it was like I'm talking about like the numbers is like 14,000 versus 5 or 7,000 Muslims, but there were always a majority Jews in Jerusalem.
I mean
If
that's
that's
fine.
what you mean by Mount Zion.
I mean that's fine. I don't really care. Like, that there were, like, about the actual ratio of how many Jews were there relative to Arabs. The only thing that I care about is the oppressive nature that they take at achieving their goal of being close to Mount Zion. I don't think that you get to, like, fight people over a stupid mountain. I mean, come on, it's a fucking mountain.
No, you're saying they had an issue with Jews being in Jerusalem or Mount Zion specifically,
No, 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 no.
which
They
I'm
had an
interpreting as
issue.
Jerusalem.
It's not that they had an issue with them being there, is that they had an issue with them driving them away, like, because they were currently living there. So, like, imagine, like, you live in, and, like, a million people start coming in and they start buying all the properties near you, and some are doing it legally, some maybe not. So, and then you just all of a sudden your area gets colonized by a foreign government, and they
Okay,
support.
let me just for a second let's let's make an argument. I'm not fully conceding to it. Let's make an argument that you're right. They're upset that they'll be displaced.
Hmm.
There are countless examples in history where whole large groups of people were displaced. Even if you take 1948, in 1948, India was formed, Pakistan was formed. I believe I wouldn't say China was formed, but like some version was formed. There are
Hmm.
all these countries that were formed, and during their formation, people had to lose their homes and move from one side of a sovereign nation to the other because their house happened to be also like Germany and Poland. They redrew their borders, and Germans found themselves to be on the Polish side. Like there are millions of people displaced around that time. You don't see them starting infinite wars, though. I mean, I'm sure they're
Right,
sad
right, and that's
they
so
lost
that
their land, but
so that's like my entire problem with Israel then, right? Because we do look around the world and people get displaced for all different sorts of reasons, and it usually doesn't lead to an all-out war. But the fact that this has led to an all-out war leads me to believe that the people that are coming there and finding a lot of resistance to their occupation or whatever you want to call it, them being there, and they're still very like they're very successful in their acquisition of the land because they have are being they have lots of resources and they're able to be very effective in their acquisition of the land. The fact that they're so persistent in their goal of no, we're staying here, this is ours. I mean, it sounds very ideological driven to me.
I don't see your point. I just told you that millions of people were displaced around this period of 1948, including Jews from Arab countries. They were ethnically cleansed from all the Arab countries, and they had to go to Israel. Now you don't see Jews go back to Baghdad, which was 32% Jewish at the time, the capital city of Iraq, and start like terror attacks to reclaim their property or the billions and billions of dollars they lost from the property they were ethnically cleansed from. But you
Oh,
do
so
see
this,
Arabs, so
this
I
so
don't
this
see
is
the
just a
distinction. I don't
yeah.
see the distinction between the millions of people who were displaced and didn't start a forever war, just the Arabs did.
So what is this? Just like a whataboutism? So what about when they did this to the Jews? What about when they did this to so and so? Like you're just deflecting from my criticism of what's actually
No, no.
happening.
I'm saying, I'm saying you didn't give me a satisfactory answer because there have been countless examples of displacement just
Answer
on
to
the
what?
face of
What
it
specifically do you want
that
an answer
didn't
to?
lead to forever wars.
What
Okay, let's do
specific?
Pakistan and India.
What what is specifically are you asking me?
To form Pakistan and India, millions of people had to move away from India and into Pakistan. Millions of people had to move from Pakistan into India because new sovereign lines were drawn and they lost their homes in a different country. So why didn't they start a forever war?
I mean, I'm not too well educated on that situation, so I'd have to look into it.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure. Jews were kicked out, were ethnically cleansed from all Arab countries in the Middle East. Why didn't Jews start a forever war?
Well, why? I mean, because you can't do that. I don't think that the
Sorry, why
goal.
not?
Are they being oppressed? Were they being like? Were they being like?
They were ethnically cleansed. They were ethnically cleansed from their property.
Well, no.
Pogroms, violence.
Oh well, then I
The
mean,
government pushed
if
them
they're
out.
being ethnically cleansed, then they got a right to
It
defend
mean no, no,
themselves.
no, no. Definitionally ethnically cleansed.
Yeah, then they would
Was
have
a
a right
huge
to.
refugee problem.
No, I don't know. They should have.
Should do what? Do a forever war?
They was defended themselves. Why are we doing it now?
They they were a minority in a country in an Arab majority country.
Why do you find it so easy to say we need to let them do it now, but the fact that they didn't do it back then, you're
I
like,
didn't say that.
well, do they have a right to defend themselves now? Is that what you think that they're doing? That this is all just defensive
No,
against?
no. I'm saying, look, again, my point is this: there are many examples, millions and millions of people who were displaced around the period of 1948 in Asia, in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
in the Middle East, in many places. You don't see them, any of them, and I literally mean like tens of millions of people. You don't see them start a forever war about it. Why? Only in the case of Israel,
Why do you say that this is the
tiny land
Palestinians starting
area.
the war?
No, I'm just asking, why the difference?
I don't think that there really is much of a difference.
But other places had exactly the same issue, and you don't see them
It's
have
just
a
different.
forever
It's
war
just
about it.
different circumstances. I don't know. I can't really
Okay,
answer that
what are
question
those?
for you.
Well, that's important, don't you think?
It's just kind of like a. It's. I mean, it's not really. If I were to look into these situations, I could give you an answer. But the fact that I'm uneducated on what happened in Pakistan and India, I really couldn't give you an answer. I
Well,
don't know.
they
If you
agreed.
want me to
They
look
agreed
into
to
it,
drop.
I can look into it. I can
Okay,
give you
so
an answer.
why did you decide to focus on Israel and not and ignore all the other mass displacements and ethnic
I'm
cleansing
not
and
ignoring
separatists?
it. I'm not ignoring it. It's just that this is
Why?
happening now. This is happening now. If there's something else happening now that I'm not aware of, I would love to know about it. Like I know about what's going on with the Uyghurs in China. That's horrible. Uh,
Okay.
I know about certain stuff, but I'm not able to know about everything. If there's something that's happening now, like a conflict that's going
Yep.
on, like a good example would be, I guess, Ukraine versus Russia. I'm educated on that
Okay,
slightly.
let me try going a different direction here for a second. Do you know who the spiritual and military leader of the Arabs in what is now Israel, who he was, sorry.
What can you repeat that?
Do you know who was the spiritual and military leader of the Arabs in Israel, or what is now known as Israel?
No.
You don't know who the leader was?
The spiritual leader in Israel?
Spiritual military leader.
No.
Hajj Amin al-Hussein, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem.
What does that have to do with anything?
He was the leader of the what you would call Palestinians.
Okay.
Okay, what was his stance on Jews?
Oh. So yeah, if you want to talk about like how you're saying Palestinians, what you're actually talking about is Hamas. Hamas is guilty of.
Well, the word
So,
Palestine.
hold on. I know.
Pal-
I know about Hamas. How they have it in their declaration of like
no, no, no.
jihadi to
Wait.
Jews.
We're not in Hamas yet. We're not in that stage of history just yet. And Palestinian, from my point of view, the current Palestinian identity that is being discussed was something that was created by Yasser Arafat in 1964. I mean, I
Well,
can discuss
Palestinian is
further
an
back.
ethnicity. It's not like an ideology at all.
No,
Okay.
Arab is an ethnicity. Palestinian is a national identity.
Oh, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay,
But
so
they're Arab.
the leader of the then Arabs was the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Hussein. What was his opinion on Jews?
Probably hated them. Why do
What
I?
was his
Why should I care?
association to the Nazi Germans? It's important.
Probably a Nazi.
He met Hitler on several occasions. He worked with Hitler in Eastern Europe to recruit Bosnians. He brought back with him uh, Nazi leaders or like his Arab leaders associated with Nazi leaders. And he asked Hitler personal permission to kill. Hitler's mission was to kill all the Jews in the world. He asked Hitler to kill the Jews in the Middle East, and he said the Jews are yours.
Oh man.
This is funny
So,
to you?
so well, I don't know. I think that you're misappropriating this history to imply something that
Excuse
it's
me.
not.
So
Yeah.
are you saying this isn't important? The leader of the then Arabs closely associating with the Nazi Party and speaking directly with Hitler on several occasions?
Let me look into that.
Would you like to see pictures? I can show you
Yeah,
pictures.
let me look into it. Where's my phone? I want to look into that.
Sure.
Fuck. Oh, here's my phone. Okay, so you're saying who is this guy? What's his name?
Hajj Amin El Hussein.
Oh, you're gonna have to spell that.
Um.
Can you put it in the
Okay. Hold
chat?
on.
And so, what are you saying that this is why? So, where are you going with this?
That the reason why the reason why that Hajj Amin Hussein hated Jews is the same reason why Hitler hated Jews, or similar.
So no, so you're not you didn't provide any context along with that. So that
What
meeting
concept would you like?
that meeting right there in the picture,
Hmm.
why are they there?
Yeah. To discuss help in Hungary, I believe.
Helping Hungary.
Help. Hitler needed, or Hitler asked. I don't know if he asked or well, he did ask. So Hitler asked Al Husseini to recruit Bosnians to help get to help like gather the Jews from Hungary and then transport the Jews from Hungary to Auschwitz in Poland.
Really?
And there was a threat, yes, and there was a threat that the resistance will bomb the bridges where the trains are traveling on, and then they won't be able to transport the Jews. Hajj Amin al-Hussein recruited Bosnians to protect the bridges. Bosnians are Muslims to protect the bridges, so that the trains can successfully reach, with the Jews successfully reach Auschwitz, and therefore
You said wait,
facilitating the death
who
of.
hired
Can
people
I
to
just
protect the British? I got questions.
Bosnians?
The boss who was hired by them
Hajj Amin approached the Bosnians to do this activity.
to protect the British.
The bridges,
Oh,
bridge
oh, so
with
what?
train tracks on them.
So that they weren't there to like discuss like protections against the British, right?
In what context is this? Sorry,
It's 1941.
sorry, but what is that to do with the British specifically in the Middle East?
Yeah,
I mean, Hajj Amin Hussein already had a good working relationship with Hitler.
did he?
Yes, you can see from the pictures I gave you.
So what
So
was the other picture? That's not from that same meeting.
the the other picture is Hajj Amin Hussein walking past a regiment of Nazi soldiers and saluting them in the same way that Hitler salutes them.
Let me look that picture up. Figure out where that's from. Gotta make sure you fact check everything. You know what I'm saying?
If I can just conclude my previous
Yeah,
point,
yeah. Go ahead. Well, I'm looking this up.
by Hajj Amin Hussein recruiting the Bosnians and protecting the bridges from being vandalized by the resistance, or sabotaged, sorry, by the resistance. This facilitated the death of 593,000 Jews from Hungary to then arrive to Auschwitz to be killed. And there was another occasion during the end of the war where Hitler wanted to exchange 5,000 Jewish children for German prisoners of war, and Hajj Amin al-Hussein persuaded him not to, and so that he could kill the 5,000 children and let the German prisoners of war remain where they are. He spoke to Hitler to not go ahead with that exchange. and kill the Jewish children.
Yeah, so this that second photo was from wasn't from the same meeting. Uh yeah, he worked with the Nazis to organize and recruit Bosnian Muslims into the Waffen SS, hoping to use them as a force to fight against the Allies and potentially aid in Arab nationalist efforts in the Middle East.
Hitler did send German officers to help the Arabs in the Middle East. I can't tell you at the back of my head, on top of my head, sorry, what they function as, but there were German, Nazi German officers in the Middle East working with the Arabs. I'm not sure what they did, but they were there.
Okay, well, this is the same argument that people have used to say why we shouldn't support Ukraine, and I think it's complete bullshit because there was plenty of people back then who
That's not the
aligned them.
argument I'm making. That's
Well,
not the argument
then
I'm
why are
making
you
at all.
bringing up that he is associated with Nazis? I don't
It's
because he hates Jews.
because the same reason why the Nazis wanted to kill the Jews is the same reason why the the Arab leadership wanted to kill the Jews, and therefore that is the reason for the fighting.
I disagree.
It's
I think you're simplifying it way too much.
okay. So you're saying it's about land. What? Give me some evidence that the Arabs are interested in the land, that they want the land. Obviously, they want the land for themselves, but why is it that they can't share the land?
I think they would share the land if they
What evidence
weren't
do you
being
have for
starved
this?
out, and and there was no blockades, and
What evidence do It's a debate. It's not a study hall.
it's not. That's why I just posted that fucking source for you to look at.
I'm not gonna. You want me to read it right now? So source
You
ChatGPT.
can you can I don't care. Yeah, I use it to look up the source. So what?
You know, ChatGPT doesn't actually read a lot of the stuff that
Where are
ChatGPT
we
that
here to
gives
have a
you.
debate about ChatGPT, or
You
are we
click
here
on
to?
it.
Are
I'm
we
just
here? Are we,
FYI.
are we here
The
to
stuff
have
ChatGPT gives it to you. You click on it. Doesn't
genetic
actually say what ChatGPT
fallacy?
said it would
It's a
say.
genetic. That's a genetic fallacy. You're worrying about where I got my content from, not
ChatGPT is a genetic fallacy.
yes, because you're arguing about where I got my information from, not the actual information itself.
No, your link
That's
includes
ChatGPT is
in the
not the
URL
source.
UTM source equals chatgpt.com. You sent me this link.
Yes, because that link was provided from ChatGPT, and you can click the link and it will take you.
I'm saying that ChatGPT, when I've used it, when it gives you a link, it says this link says these things. When you click on the link, it doesn't actually say the things that ChatGPT says it does.
Really?
And it's quite embarrassing, especially when yeah, and it's quite
Okay,
embarrassing,
please,
especially when you do
please,
those kinds of things.
go ahead, please look into it.
Please what?
If you think that
I'm not gonna
you don't
read
think
your
that
links right. I'm not gonna read your links right now. I have covered already this area, and there's a debate between the people who count these numbers as to how these numbers arrived and who
well,
they
it's just
are.
so funny that
And
you do
there's
that
two
because like
there's
let's
listen to
talk.
me. I'm answering the things you sent me. There's two ways of historians or demographers look at this. One is that the Muslims were there, or the Arabs were there. And by the way, 150,000 of those Muslims were Arabs, but they were nomadic Arabs or Bedouin. They traveled around, and they didn't actually own the land or settle on the land, but they came when the season was better for their sheep and stuff like that.
Uh-huh. Where are you
Um,
getting all this from?
well, the same
It.
people that would tell you there was X amount of Muslims that would tell you what I just told you.
Oh, so
The same sources.
you're just so willing to like tell me your
I've
information, but
studied
as soon
this.
as did you? Where?
Yes, and
Where?
just let me
In
just
your
make my
study
point,
hall?
and you let me just make my point, and then you could go and research it later. That's fine. So there's two kinds of ways of people who count the numbers. I think one camp says that there was a large Muslim population, which, by the way, I can't find in the capital city, in the large cities. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
seem like they settled in the numbers that people are setting in the cities, so they must have been like spread out in the sand dunes, because I really can find, usually like when large populations live in a particular country, they live in the cities. They did not. So I can't really find where they're spread out. But there is a sort of consensus that at least two-thirds of the number, by the time we're talking about the 1920s or the 1940s, came there for as economic migrants, because there's no borders or anything. Came there as illegal economic migrants. They weren't born in the on the land. They don't have British mandatory of Palestine passports or certificates. They came illegally to the land to look for work. Illegal in quotations, because there's no borders you can just walk through, right? Um, and so the two camps, either they were there, they were living there, or the other is that at least two-thirds of them came as economic migrants. I'm in the latter camp.
Okay. Well, I just
Okay,
wanted
so let's go
to.
back to the point because it's getting a bit late.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So
just.
so we're saying British colonized
Well, I
the
first want to
Arabs. They
ask you.
all
I first want to ask you about this image that
sure.
you shared with me. Where'd you get this 90% number from?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to.
In the chat. I just put it in the chat. Remember you shared this?
Oh, this.
Yeah,
Oh, that.
yeah.
The United Nations.
Did you ever like look into it?
I think some people like are questioning that. I think that if you take like the 20th century wars, you mean civilian to combatant ratio, yeah?
Yeah, the 90% number.
Yeah, so the 90% number basically is a qualification from a civilian to combatant ratio that happens in wars, and typically in wars, a lot of civilians die. I don't know how we jumped to this topic though, because we still
Was
haven't
because
concluded the main one.
it was just like I looked into it and it just it was like completely misleading, like because that number.
Okay, so I would state that in most other wars, the civilian to combat ratio are either 9-1 or 5-1, especially in if you look at the Iraq war, the Afghanistan war, I mean recent one, sorry. It's something like between 5-1 and 9-1, and urban war tends to be a higher civilian to combatant ratio.
I just remember I cited you. I remember you shared the source that you got it from, and even in that, it was saying that wasn't like the average
But
or
there is a
something like that.
United Nations source that says that.
It's just not accurate. That's not
Then
accurate.
you can complain. Then complain to the United Nations.
No, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying like you shouldn't share like misleading information that compares a 90% casualty rate and then 13% Hamas rate. Like that was completely blown out of proportions. Those numbers were
No,
cherry
hold
picked
on,
like
hold on,
fuck.
hold on. Hold on. I don't think. Okay, so this is. Have you read the Gaza Health Ministry report?
Why?
Because these are based off those reports. Have you read any one of their reports?
Are you just
That it's
knowledge
once a
checking
month.
me? What are you trying to get at?
I'm trying to get an answer. If you've read
Yeah. Why?
you've read it.
Uh-huh.
Which month?
Which month?
Yes, for which month have you read it?
October.
They release one once a month. Sorry.
October.
Okay, and where did you obtain it from? Just so I'm clear,
The internet.
a bit more specific.
Oh, I don't have the link right off my hand. Why?
Which platform on the internet did you obtain the report from? Because you didn't actually read it.
Safari. So are you just
You're
concerned if
making
I are you just concerned if I read it? Because like this is just
so okay.
I'm
So
just
basically,
like what's your
for those
point?
for those listening, for those listening, for
No,
those listening.
I'm
The
I'm
Gaza
just
has
I'm
the
just feeding
Gaza
you
the Gaza
bullshit.
Health Ministry. Yeah, I'm smelling your bullshit from over here.
Yeah,
The
I know. I'm
Gaza Health
doing it because
Ministry
it's just
releases.
pointless.
Let me
What you're doing
finish
is
my fucking
pointless.
sentence.
Well, you're just
Let me
so
finish my
bad faith.
fucking
I really
sentence.
don't want to let you because you're
Let
just
me
so bad
finish my
faith.
sentence. If for those who want to read it themselves, the Gaza Health Ministry releases uh, their report once a month, usually at the end of the month, on Telegram, and you can download that. You can try and translate that with a translator, and you can see the numbers for themselves. And for those, and it's important to do this, especially if someone is a journalist, because they they change their numbers, they cover their butts all the time. You can see like IDs on one report with a different
It was
age on
fifty
another.
percent.
There was a recent study by the Jason Jackson Society, and they compare these reports because one report says here's an ID of someone, here's their name, they're 20-year-old. Then 2 months later, on a different report, they're actually 1-year-old. On one report, it's a male, and then like one report 1 month later, it's a female. So these sorts of things um, really kind of make you doubt what's going on in these reports. But basically, what the image that you're citing me is based off those reports, off those Gaza Health Ministry reports. So
What?
they're
What
saying
am I citing you? What did I cite
the
you with?
image that you the image that you send me with the 90% is based
Yeah, that
off.
was
I
what
mean,
you. That's
apart from the
what you
90%,
shared.
all the other numbers are based on their reports.
That was your image that you shared.
Well, okay, sure. So they'll you want me to go over the numbers and explain what they mean?
Yeah, because it was just bullshit. Because
Great.
no, hold on,
So this is
hold on. Let me talk. Let me talk. You were talking for a long time there. That number
sure.
you referenced the study, and it was from William Eckhart. Okay, the civilian casualty rate is around 50%, not 90.
Okay, sure.
So it was
That's
just
but that's not
misleading.
relevant. But that's not relevant. That's not relevant to any of the other numbers. That's like a side number.
Yeah, but the fact that you like that you referenced it with that image that had it like so highlighted that other wars were just like casually like 90%. That's just like
On
extremely
average.
mis.
That okay? Look, any way you want to slice it, you're not complaining about me. You're not complaining about this. You're complaining about what the UN
I'm
said.
compl- no, I am complaining about you because you shared this image to like suggest that
Okay, well,
like
you complain till tomorrow because this is what you can complain till tomorrow. This is what the UN cited.
no, I'm just saying like you should look into the things that you before you share them. Since you say
Okay,
that like
you said
I
that.
since
You
you said
said
that
that.
I should look into
You said that.
what I get from ChatGPT, like since I don't read anything, you should read in to the images that you
I'm
share
familiar.
and the
I'm familiar.
numbers
I'm familiar. I
since
am
you
familiar
study
with the
this.
arguments around it. I'm familiar with the arguments around it. I'm still quite confident that certainly urban warfare is 9-1, which is 90%.
Based off what?
The likelihood of civilians living in that area and dying in the war zone, which is their city.
What type of evidence do you have to support this number that
I
you've
looked
come
into
up
it
with?
once. I looked into it once. I can't remember off the top of my head. I just like inquired into. This is like
Oh yeah,
taking me back
I'll
15
just
months
take
at
it.
least.
Yeah, I'll just take your source to
But
trust
I
me,
but
bro.
but you trust you. I'll trust ChatGPT more. But the other numbers
It's not that you
here
should trust
is the
ChatGPT.
relevant. The the
You
other
should
numbers the other numbers here are the more relevant part, right?
what
So basically,
no
the graph that you're referring to kind of says that the losses, the civilian losses in this Gaza war are abnormally low, and that the Israeli army took extremely effective and difficult decisions to protect civilians above the operational goals that they were trying to militarily obtain. And as a result, a very abnormally low number of civilians die based on the chart that you've just shared with me. And then the comparison is 1-to-1 versus the 9-to-1. If you want to do 1-to-1 versus 5-to-1, that's fine with me. You want to do 1-to-1 versus 3-to-1, it's still fine with me. But either way you slice it, the civilian to combatant ratio is still very low for Gaza. And if you want to say, well, look, the number of bombs that they dropped, yeah, the number of bombs that dropped is high versus how many people actually died is low. That means for like every bomb, there's like 0 to 1 civilian died. So any way you slice it, the civilian death rate is abnormally low.
I completely disagree. Uh,
I'm
I
sure you
think
do, but
I
you
think
shared the graph.
well, I know that's your graph. Let's not forget that.
Okay,
Uh, so like you're saying that you think that this is low. I would say that it's average, if anything. And
average compared to who? Compared to which conflict?
compared to the average casualty rate,
Of all wars? No, I don't agree.
it's close to it.
No, I don't agree at all.
Not extremely, but
Okay,
it's
so which war
small.
did the invading army tell the citizens to get out, or they gave them, like, they dropped leaflets with maps saying we're coming from this direction, you should go to the other direction, and basically telegraphing their every military move to both the enemy and the civilians. No one's done that. No one ever.
So you're saying that because they did that, they were just justified, and
No,
whoever
I'm
they
saying
slaughtered,
that these
whoever
sorts
didn't
of
read it,
listen to me. I'm saying then they dropped flyers. They explained to people where to go, where they're coming in from. But bear in mind, them doing that gives away their position, so it's risking their own soldiers' lives, so that the enemy's civilians will get out of the way. So no one's done that. No one's like done roof knocking with, like, where they tap the roof and say leave quickly. Or no one's phoned the people in the building saying get out now. No one's done any of those things. Name an army that's done that. No one.
you know what? The fact that you mentioned that, it reminds me how also no one generally has
You want to
ever
answer my
attached.
question?
uh, the, this is just a straw man. I'm not really gonna engage in that.
How is it a strawman? Well, this is the actual policies of the Israeli army to take steps that no other army has taken to prevent civilian casualties. How is that a strawman? That's literally extremely relevant to your point.
No, no, that's not what my point is. That they weren't careful enough. That's not what my point was.
Okay, what is your point then?
That it's not. My point is that they didn't. It's not that they cared about being careful. That was just a warning, telling people to get out. Anyone that didn't is getting slaughtered.
Yes, but when they tell the people to get out, bear in mind they're also telling the terrorists and their equipment
Just
and their
because they
maps
say
and all
get
they
out
do
of
is
here,
get out.
just because they said get out ahead of time, doesn't mean that it gives them the right to invade and slaughter all the civilians that they do. Not
No,
at all.
first of all, first of all, okay, why do you think they have the right to be in Gaza right now?
The right?
They do have the right. Why do you think they have? Yes, the right.
No, they by
Okay.
far.
Would you
Uh,
say, let me explain how international and international law works, and how military and how wars work.
okay, you
What
do
would you
that.
call what Hamas did on October 7th? Well, how would you define that event of October 7th?
It was a
With
terrorist
using what
attack.
words?
It was a terrorist attack.
Any other words?
Uh, no. Do you
It
have
was
any?
much more. It was not a terrorist. It was not a terrorist attack. It was much worse than that. A terrorist attack, if you mean like a guerrilla attack, where like you bomb a bus and then you
Well, basically, from
either
my understanding, they never thought that they were
go back
gonna.
to where you came from. That wasn't what happened.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, they never perceived that they were. Are you gonna let me finish? Are you
I
gonna
don't
let me
need what
fucking
they
finish?
thought. I'm just asking, define what happened.
Yeah, they thought they weren't going to get over the fucking blockade. They did. They didn't have a plan. Then they did
That's not
terrorism.
true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yeah, it
They
is.
planned it for excuse me. They planned this for 2 years.
What did they
They
have? So what did
trained
they
for
have?
it
So you're telling me that
outside the country.
what evidence do you have to support that the plan for once they got over was to just slaughter people?
They had documentations on them.
Please
They
share it.
had
Share it. I need to see that. You're making a
okay,
big claim
but
there, bud.
shut the fuck up. You have no clue of the slightest. You're getting your information from Discord
Oh, here
servers and
we go with the
4chan.
gaslighting.
Go
Here
read.
we go with the gaslighting. Fuck out of
You
here.
don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, just gaslight me some more. I have no clue what I'm talking about. Let me get all my
See
information from you.
what are you asking for? Documents that the IDF captured from terrorists that they had on them?
I want document.
Intel? What are you asking to see?
I want proof that them motherfuckers. You said they were
Who are
planning,
you?
and
Well,
you
hold
got
on.
proof. I want to
Who are
see
you
proof.
to ask for this proof? Who are you to ask for this
We're
proof?
having a debate. You made a claim. I'm asking you. The burden of proof is on you. Fuck out of here.
Right, but who are you? Look, you're asking for military grade intelligence. Who are
No,
you to
I'm
be able
not.
to?
I'm asking
And
for public
yes, you are.
available info. If this is
It's
true,
not. Listen, listen.
how do you know it's true then? How do you know if
Armies,
you're sure you're
listen,
telling me you got military access info and you got behind the scenes information? You're letting me know that right
listen to
now?
me.
Fuck out of
Listen to
here.
me.
You're full of
Okay,
shit.
so would you? What do you? Okay, what do you think did happen on were people killed on October 7th? Were Israelis killed?
Yeah.
Were
Hell yeah.
women raped?
Yes.
Okay. Were babies burnt alive?
Possibly. Probably. I think. I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay. So I'm gonna say something that, and I'm not gonna give you, unless you maybe read the Wall Street Journal. I'm not gonna give you military information as to what happened. But generally, the
Oh,
idea
but
was
you
to
have
invade
it. You
Israel.
got it right.
You can read this in newspapers if you want.
Oh, but you can't
The
send me the
idea
fucking
was
newspapers.
I can send you the newspapers.
Well, that's what the fuck I'm asking
The
for.
Okay, but I'm telling you what it says first, right? The idea they were training for this for 2 years. This was coordinated with the IRCG, and it was also coordinated with Hezbollah. Before October 7 happened, Hezbollah were moving rockets closer to the border, and as a result, Israel thought that something's happening up north. They diverted their attention and their vehicles and all their equipment up north.
Okay.
At
Yeah.
in the south, they reduced their activity, so you couldn't see what was going on. And by the way, all these sorts of communications were done
So
on a very
so
low tech.
what does this do to prove that they're
What's important is when they
love how you
invaded
cut me
Israel,
off
they
constantly.
they trained for this for a long time. They knew exactly what they were doing. 6,000 people crossed the border on October 7th from Gaza into Israel. 3,800 were mainly Hamas, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Fatah, PLFLP, and the other 2,200 were Gazan civilians who tagged along. Um, they came in. This was the first wave out of two. The first wave was supposed to just kill door to door the kibbutzim, the socialist farming communities, and then the next division was supposed to head in two directions, right? One to Tel Aviv and one to Dimona, where Dimona does a nuclear power plant, a nuclear power plant, and also the suspected nuclear weapons that Israel houses. So that was the plan, and the plan was also to coordinate it with Hezbollah, which they didn't do, but that was the original plan. That Hezbollah fires stuff from the north,
How
Hamas
do we
attacks from the
know? How do
south.
we know? So
That was the point.
send me this
Yeah,
article.
okay. I'll send you the article after the debate. That was the idea, but
Whoa! After the
for
debate,
some,
you don't want me to look into this.
I'll send it to you.
Send
I'm
it to
happy
me right
to
now,
look
not
into it.
after the debate,
But to do what? To
so I can look
read
into it.
it right
I
now as
want to
I'm
look
explaining
at.
this to you.
Yeah, yes,
You, I'll, s-
yes.
I will
I want to fact check
I will
you.
do that. Go ahead. I will do that. Just let me finish what I'm trying to say.
All right, send
So
it,
the
and
idea
I'll
was that
shut
they do
up.
it at the same time. To do it at the same time, but for some reason Hamas went ahead did it without Hezbollah. And so anyway, the point is this: Hamas invaded Israel. They did what is called a genocide. Okay, as per the Geneva Convention on Genocide, Israel is morally obligated to take robust steps to prevent this sort of thing from happening again to its people. Okay, that is why it started the war.
Get the
That is
fuck
why
out of
Israel
here.
is that is why Israel is morally obligated to go
That
into
shit was a
Gaza
fucking
and remove Hamas.
terrorist attack.
I didn't ask your opinion.
It's not an opinion.
I'm stating to you how laws work.
It was not a genocide. There was nothing systematic about it.
They systematically went door to door and killed people.
What? It was one fucking attack. You're saying going door to door is fucking a system is systematic? Get the fuck out of here.
It is systematic. They went
No,
door to
it's
door,
not. That's not what
killed
systematic
people.
means. Not you're
That is
fucking
systematic. They
grossly
were
you're grossly
indiscriminately,
misrepresenting what
sh-
systematic means. No, I'm not gonna shush. I'm sick of you fucking talking over me and
indiscriminately
cutting me.
went into
I'm just
Israel.
gonna start talking over you if you're gonna do that shit. Do you want to have a
Okay,
discussion
I
or do
don't
you
know
want to
how.
talk
I
over each other?
okay. What? Why wouldn't you say it's a genocide? Why is it not a genocide?
I mean, I think it is a genocide because there's multiple scholars that fucking have decided that this is a genocide, and that's usually how fucking genocides are found out before
So
they're
October
actually
7 was a
before
genocide,
they're
yeah.
what? Oh, October 7th?
So
Oh
October
no,
7, you
no,
agree that
no.
October
I'm
7 was
talking. I was
yes.
talking about what's going on in
Okay,
Gaza.
okay. So why is October 7 not a genocide?
Because it was a terrorist attack. It was not
This
systematic whatsoever.
it was definitely systematic. It was
No,
definitely
it
planned. They
wasn't.
definitely killed people. Okay, well, look, I don't no, it wasn't. Isn't really an argument. But either way, this is the reason why Israel can go in and remove
This
Hamas,
was
and why
one specific. You
you
can't say one
as you
specific
may have
attack.
seen,
One attack is
as you
not
may
systematic.
as you may have
That's
seen,
not. That's not what.
as
That's
you
not
may
what Hitler did. That's not what any fucking
as you
genocide.
may have seen, as you
You
may have seen,
just
all the
cut
people
me.
in most people in the world agreed with my legal claim right now. They said that Israel has the right
It
to
was a
defend itself.
terrorist attack
This is
because it was
this is the
meant
claim.
to strike fear into the civilians' hearts. It was about revenge. It wasn't about
A
just.
terrorist attack, or
It
what you
wasn't.
call it.
It wasn't about killing as many people as possible. It wasn't about reducing the
No, it
size of a
was.
group.
It was. It
No, it
was about
wasn't.
killing as many people as possible.
No, no, it
Yes, it
wasn't.
was.
It was about revenge. It was
Their actions,
ideological. It was ideologically driven, or well,
their
sort of.
their actions were consistent with killing as many people as possible.
So what? So just like every
So
fucking
that
so
qualifies. That
is every
qualifies as.
okay is every mass shooting a genocide?
Is it like a group versus group thing, or a person versus another person?
This is like school shooters versus the school.
Yeah, that's not a group. That's not like a country versus a nation versus a nation thing, is it? It's
Oh,
not.
so Hamas is a nation.
Hamas is the leader. Is the democratically elected government of Gaza.
Oh, you're so fucking semantical.
Well, it's important in law, wouldn't you say?
No, it's extremely
Well, anyway,
unproductive.
that
It's extremely
so it's
unproductive.
not so.
No,
We can
no.
agree.
Hamas has been defined as a fucking terrorist group by the United States government. Okay,
Okay,
not a government.
sure,
They're not recognized
but
as a
they are
sub.
they are the elected
They're
government.
not. They're not. They're
Well, they
fucking.
were at
I
least. I
forget
don't know.
they're not a fucking actual government. It's unofficial as fuck.
Okay, so I've not. Maybe it's unofficial as fuck, and maybe the idea was that because of the Oslo Accords, that these regions at some point graduate to be a nation. That was they're on the path to be a nation, and that's why they had democratic elections. So they had someone to govern them, and that they can have like a police and courts and all these things that government gives you, the
Exactly.
rule
Now
of
you're
law and
getting
order.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Now you're getting somewhere.
they did those things. They did those things. They
Yes,
were the police in
to
Gaza.
get yes, exactly. So to get towards being a legitimate government, but they were not a legitimate government.
They were legitimate government in a kind of quasi state that wasn't a full state.
Yeah, in your quasi sense, sure. They had government
Okay, so we
abilities,
have an agreement why Israel
but they're not an
okay,
actual government.
okay, so now we understand why the IDF went into Gaza military trying to remove Hamas, right? They didn't go there to slaughter people. Obviously, if they were trying to prevent or reduce casualties, we already agreed on that. They had policies to reduce casualties. They weren't trying to slaughter people. They were trying to remove Hamas specifically.
Uh-huh. And just happened to shoot like all those little kids on the way.
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, you have no idea about the little kids that got shot by the
They
snipers?
shot little kids on the way.
Yeah, the snipers. The you talking about the
Oh my
Israelis?
fucking god! Are you serious right now? I know what you're talking about. Are you serious? Do you think like a sniper bullet just sticks into a child that doesn't exit it and cause like a bowling-sized hole in their body, especially a younger child? It's fake
You're
as fuck.
saying, oh, really? Really? Was it?
Yeah,
Where?
really.
What's fake about it? Please tell me.
Well, if you take like a watermelon, right? If you take like a sniper
It
rifle,
depends what
even from a distance,
caliber, dumbass.
any caliber that's in a sniper rifle, dumbass, would
No,
do that.
no, 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 no. That's not fucking true. You don't know what
No, no,
you have
no,
no
no. Okay,
idea. You have
enlighten me.
no idea what you're talking about. You're talking, yeah, if that was a fucking 50
I
caliber
was I was
BMG, if it was a 50 caliber
I
BMG,
was
yeah, sure, it would
I
fucking
was
rip that
50.
child to shreds.
How
That's not
many
the
years?
caliber that they were
How
carrying.
many years in the any caliber
No, it was
would
more it
threaten
was more of an assault rifle caliber.
even an assault rifle caliber would do that. How many? Look, have you fired weapons before?
Why does that matter? Why are you asking me about my
Do you have
personal
experience?
experiences?
Do you have experience? Do you have experience with these
I'm
things? Do you like
knowledgeable
watch
with guns. I'm absolutely knowledgeable about guns.
handguns or rifles?
Any gun.
Rifles.
Sure.
Okay. Can I just ask? Do you know that I'm just gonna say I was 3 years in the army because it's mandatory service. So
Okay.
I'm just a bit. I may be a bit more familiar than you are.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Anyway, I'm familiar. I know about this story. It was like when it came out, like when the doctors like pulled like a shiny 556 round that no way did go into anyone, especially not a young child. And then later it was dunked on because you had like an X-ray of it. It was dunked on heavily by a lot of other people. I don't need to debunk it. It's been debunked thoroughly already. It was funny when it came out, and then it was dunked like a day or two later. Everyone who had any
So
sort of army experience dunked on it.
your whole argument is this has been debunked. I'm not going to debunk it. Nice fucking rebuttal.
Well, in
I'm
any
from
way
the
you want to look at
army.
it,
This has been debunked. Nice fucking
this
rebuttal.
is
That was fucking
irrelevant.
trash.
This is irrelevant.
Well,
This is
you're
irrelevant
just
because
unable to respond to it. Sure,
no,
but
I
it's
responded
just
to it. It's dumb as fuck.
it's really
But the
not.
point
It's
is
really
that
not.
the overall numbers, yeah, it
Those
was
kids were
fake. Come on,
shot.
man.
Those kids were shot and
By
they were
Israel,
killed.
how do you know? How do you know?
That's literally what, bro. Who else the fuck were they shot by?
Hamas.
Hamas. You're saying that
Yes.
all those kids that were shot were from Hamas.
Hamas shoot their own people several
Get
times a
the
day.
fuck out of here! You're so full of shit.
Are you saying I'm lying?
Yes,
Why do you think I'm lying?
because you just made the most fucking irrational statement. I just said
Do you want me
all
to
those
show? Do you
kids
want
that
me?
were killed by the IDF. You're just gonna say any
Do you want
kid
me
that
to
was
show you
killed
a
by the
video of
IDF
Hamas
is
shooting their? You
you're
want me to show you a
no.
video?
Shut up!
Do you want me
Shut
to
up!
show you a
Stop talking over me. All those kids that were killed by the IDF must have been killed by Hamas. That is completely fucking
No, I'm
illogical.
asking. That's not what I'm saying.
That's what you just fucking
I'm
said.
asking you how. I'm asking you how do you know? That's all I'm asking. And you said, where else would they come from? They could come from Hamas.
Because that's what's in the reports, buddy.
Whose reports?
I'll tell you right now. You want me to use ChatGPT to link you
Oh,
links, or are
please
you
God,
just gonna
don't
be
use
like,
ChatGPT.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's what
but
I'm gonna use.
so I'm just saying, does the bullet have like an address on it came from Israel? I just want to know, like, how do you know it's from Israel?
I'll
Because
check
there
right
was this
now.
another report where this girl died and she was lit and where she was littered with the 762 millimeter bullets, and that's from AK-47s, not like usual Israeli army stuff.
You give me 2 seconds. Oh, I'm sorry. Is this not a study hall? I'm
Okay, yeah,
sorry.
it's not a study
No,
hall.
no, yeah, no, 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 no. I got you.
In
Well,
general,
so you're gonna say that the Jenin
the
incident in
overall
December 20,
numbers.
20 in December 2023, the 16-year-old Palestinian girl, you're saying that she
Let's
was
see if we can agree on
it
something.
was an IDF
Let's see if we
operation.
let's see if we can agree on something. Let's see if we can agree on something. The overall numbers, can we agree on that? That Israel had a low civilian to combatant ratio?
I'm gonna fact check that. I'll tell you in a second. I'm not gonna just tell you what I think.
You tell me
I'm gonna
what you
actually
think.
look up the numbers and I'm gonna make an informed decision.
Sure. Okay, so what I'm asking for when you're looking for the numbers is what you think the civilian to combatant ratio for this Gaza war, okay? And I'm saying it's low. Anything, let's say if it's five civilians to one, then it's average. Let's say I'll agree with your average. And if it's like 20 to one, 20 civilians to one combatant, then this is odd and something's gone wrong. Even okay, so go ahead. Tell me what you think that number is.
Uh, so let's see. I got the numbers right here. Um, so with the average being around,
No, just answer the question. What is the civilian to combatant ratio in this recent war?
well, there's about 46,000 Palestinians that have been killed. So what is that to? I need to figure out what is that to the 50% number. Okay, yeah, it's 50% total of the total casualties is civilian.
Yeah. So 1 to 1.
Yeah, so this is just the average. It's average, like I said
No,
it was.
the average is 5 to 1.
No, the average is 50%.
I don't 50%. Okay, yes,
According to
50%. 50% in the way you're phrasing it, right? So the 90% figure that you were complaining about was converted from 9 to 1. The 9 to 1 meaning that out of 10 people that died during the war, nine were civilians, one was combatant. 50% would mean that out of 5 people, four was well. I hope I'm doing this right. Four were civilian, one was combatant. And that's 4 to 1. Sorry, five was civilian, one was combatant. Here it's 1 to 1. That means out of the 50% in this different context is that from the 46,000 you read, half were combatant,
yes,
like 23,000 combatants, 23,000 civilians.
yes,
Okay, so that's low. That's good.
that's
It's
low.
positive. That's what you want. You want civilians to be protected as much as possible, and this is
26,000.
one of the obviously wars are terrible, and you want to avoid them as much as possible. And Israel never wanted to begin this war at all because obviously it lost its own soldiers. It has injuries. It's very difficult on a variety of
Whoa,
different
hold
things.
on, hold on,
Never wanted to do
hold
it.
on, hold on, hold on. Those numbers. No, hold on. Because it says right here that that most of those number, more than half of those that 46,000 is women, children, and the elderly. So there's something wrong about those numbers.
No, that's not true. That's not true. It's
This is according to Reuters.
64%.
This is according to
Hold on.
Reuters
Reuters
or
and
whatever.
64%. It's different. 64% of those numbers were or men between the ages of 15 to 45, and 15 is
No,
considered a
it's
child, but
yeah. It says
Hamas
no. It says right here that
I'm explaining
the
it to you.
campaign in Gaza killed more than 46,000 people, with just over half identified victims being women, children, or older people. This is what it says, word for word. I'm quoting.
Okay, so I would say that the statistician, a professor for statistics, did an evaluation on those numbers, and the distribution that you just referenced with regards to who is a child, who is a woman, who is an older person, and who is a man is completely fabricated. It's the
Oh, so you're just
same.
saying I'm just
Let me
reading lies.
finish.
It's just
Let me
lies.
finish. Let
That's
me finish.
fucking
It is the
bullshit.
same. It is the same thing when they evaluate people who cheat on their taxes and they just allocate numbers to be able to then cheat at the end result. It was confirmed it was the same thing. It's statistically impossible that those distributions is as you're describing. Now, what I would say is that the majority of people who died are between 15 and 45. Notice that 15 to 18 would count as a child, but Hamas does recruit in this age range. Now, if you take just the civilians, you would reach something like 73% of the civilian deaths would be women and children.
All right. Let's just move away from this. I want to switch. I want to switch.
Okay. Well, but
Just I want to switch
switch to
to
what?
the num. Do you think that there's only 34 people that have starved in Gaza?
47.
447.
Four,
Yeah, you think that number
yeah.
is you think that's a real number? You think that that's how many people are really starving?
47 is a real number, yeah.
You know, fucking bullshit.
Okay.
Then
The
then
people let me ask, the people who celebrated now the victory that they won in Gaza, did they look malnourished to you?
it's not what
All
I
the
care
videos.
about. I don't care about
Listen,
fucking
buddy.
videos.
I'm just asking for you
You
to
you
observe.
you want me to care
I'm
about
just asking you to
fucking
observe.
TikToks?
Forget TikToks. Go to like any mainstream news channel that shows you a video of Gazans celebrating, yeah, en masse in the street.
That don't
Do any of them look starving to you?
you know who looks starving to me? The videos that I seen of them running for their lives for that humanitarian aid, scooping it out of the fucking ground after a bag done fell out of a crate that the parachute must have like fucked up, and the crate done fell on the ground and busted the bag of flour, and this motherfucker is scooping the sand and flour to just get the flour, hopefully, and worry about the sand later.
A
Come
picture is not
on. It
a
wasn't a picture, it was
picture.
a
A
video. It was
picture
a
is
video. It was a video, and they were scooping that shit up, and they weren't even the focus of the video. They were just walking past that
okay.
person.
I call bullshit. Okay,
I wish I had that fucking video to show you. I wish I had that
I call
fucking
bullshit.
video.
No, I'm not disagreeing with you that you saw something like that. I call bullshit on the starvation, and I've got plenty of
I
numbers
call bullshit on that,
to prove
citing
it.
the fact that there was a fucking a letter sent to fucking Biden from 99 fucking physicians saying that they estimated that there was thousands of fucking people that they were treating for starvation.
So just because they're doctors, I should believe them.
There
There
was
were doctors that
99
said
of
that.
them. 99 of them.
Okay, okay.
There
There
was
were
a
doctors in the
consensus. There was a
there were
consensus of
doctors in the.
doctors. Of,
I'm sure all the 99 agreed, but if you recall the Ali hospital bombing on October 17th that said that 600 people died because Israel, in quotation, bombed the hospital, turned out to be fake, and it wasn't even close to 600 people who died. It was less than 50. The doctors had to whip out people from cold storage, put it in front of the camera, and say Israel hurt us. So why should so if doctors say it here, why should I believe doctors saying it there? Even the senior doctor in some hospital was a colonel in Hamas. Why should I believe the doctors?
because there's fucking 99 of them. It's a consensus.
Look, can you have this thing where you
99
focus
of
on a
them
very
fucking
narrow
agreed.
picture? No, okay, you have this thing where you focus on a very narrow picture and not the overall numbers.
You're
You're not
no,
looking at the
you're
big picture.
focusing on the fact that this isn't a fucking. You're just like, oh no, this isn't a fucking. There's nobody's starving. There's only 34. You really think that that's fucking realistic? I mean, come on. What was the need for the whole humanitarian aid? You don't send
There's right.
humanitarian aid if there's
Look,
if there's fucking 40 people starving. We have way more
here,
than
let me
40 people
show you.
No, no, shut up. We have way more than 40 fucking people starving in the fucking US right now. And you're going to sit here and tell me that there's only 40 people in Gaza starving.
47 people died of starvation.
Whatever, I'm
Yeah, there's a
rounding
lot of.
down.
How many trucks a day does Kogat, the unit responsible for letting them in, say went into Gaza?
What?
You can track all these numbers.
What numbers are you citing?
Kogat is the unit that lets in trucks into Gaza. How many and base and they it's always available online. They have like a spreadsheet you can download. They say on Twitter every day how much trucks will let in, and it's very it's all open source. It's all available public data. How
Mm-hmm.
many trucks will let in?
You're asking me for specific data.
Well, I can't send you this video. Um, so it depends. I can send you some actually if you want specific data, but I can send you a bit older data. Yeah, this is not my work, but this is some guy who evaluated this. If I can just open it. This is the guy who had access to the to the data, and he did like comparison versus how many. Well, it's a private message. How many calories people received? Basically, the position is that the Palestinians received roughly around 3,000 to 3,200 calories per day per person. There were moments where there were like crossing closures because of particular reasons, but this guy kind of aggregates it all together and say and does like a red line, a yellow line, and a green line, and tries to connect the dots.
I just sent you that video of them running for the fucking humanitarian aid.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, if you look at that video and you tell me that those people aren't desperate, that they're up.
I think that this you could make a claim that the distribution from, let's say, the people in South Gaza had plenty of food, the people in North Gaza maybe had less. You could make a claim that the distribution wasn't great. That's not Israel's job, though. Israel's job is just to let it in.
No, no, no.
Um,
Yeah, exactly. So like they shouldn't have the fucking blockade.
no, what do you mean they shouldn't have the blockade? There's
The
five
blockade
open
is what the blockade is
crossings.
all. If they didn't have the blockade, they wouldn't need the fucking humanitarian aid. The whole reason they
If
can't
they
get
didn't
food
have
in
the
is
block,
because the blockade.
if they didn't have the blockade, you'd have October 7 every day of the week.
Oh yeah, based off fucking what?
What happened in October 7? Did they cross the border? The border was open for a few
Why
minutes
why were they attacking the fucking border? Because there is a
to
fucking
cross the
border.
border.
Because there's a
To cross
fucking
the border.
border that's keeping them locked
Yeah,
in.
that's the land of Israel, and Gaza is not part of it.
It's just fucking bullshit, dog. It's just crazy that
Look,
you find this justifiable in any sort of
look,
way.
in any which case, you have like a whole stockpile of food on the Gazan side of the border. You have like 800 trucks worth that no one's picking up and distributing, and some stuff has been there for so long. It's been over a year. They have to throw it away. Why isn't anyone picking it up and distributing it?
I guess I maybe Hamas stole it and they're hiding it, right?
Okay, but they do steal it from the NGOs, but the NGOs they have to come pick it up and distribute it.
Okay, so what does that have to do with the Palestinians whatsoever? People are not distributing the
What does that
aid.
have to do with? But
My
what does that
problem
have
is
to do
that
with?
they need
But
aid in the fucking first place. They shouldn't.
Israel is letting Israel is letting in aid. The fact
I
that some
don't
Palestinians
want.
are not getting
What don't
is
you
not Israel's
understand?
fault.
are dude? Do you not hear me? I said I don't want them to need aid to begin with. If there's
Okay,
aid being
don't
brought
start
in,
wars.
they shouldn't need it. Don't
Yeah,
start
but
wars.
don't
Get the
start
fuck
wars. You
out of
don't need
here.
aid.
Get the fuck out of
They
here.
started the war.
Bullshit.
Did they or did they not start a war?
No, they did not start the fucking war.
I don't know. I
In
don't
a
know how
new
else you
in a
call it then.
nuanced way, absolutely the fuck not. If you want to argue over who exactly fucking killed the fucking first person, that's not productive at all. I'm looking at the grand scheme of what happened. Fucking
You don't.
Arabs,
No,
Arab,
no,
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 no, no, no, no, no,
no, no,
no,
no, no,
no, no,
no.
no, no, no,
You're
no,
not
no.
looking
We
at
can
the
go,
grand
no, no,
scheme
no,
of
no, 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 back and forth. We can do that too. I can do
anything.
that too.
You're not
No, no,
looking
no,
at the grand
no, no,
scheme
no,
of
no.
absolutely
No, no,
anything.
no, no, no,
You're
no,
not
no.
looking at any
No, no,
numbers.
no, 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 no,
You're
no,
not
no.
looking at any
No, no, no,
numbers.
no.
You're not looking
No,
at
no, no,
any.
no, no, no. No, 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 no. I'm looking at the grand
Are you
scheme.
okay? Do you need some kind of medical attention?
Shut the fuck up. I'm just doing what
You're
you
not
did to
looking at
me.
the grand scheme of anything.
I am. You're just not letting me fucking talk. You keep cutting me the fuck off every 2 seconds.
You're not looking at the big numbers. You keep
Yeah, I
giving me
am.
these picture, this one picture of something. No, you then you admitted that the numbers are
It's.
low, that people are not starved. The people are not starving.
I
They are
never
getting.
fucking
You could
admitted
make
the
a claim.
numbers are low. I never admitted the numbers are
You could
low.
make a claim. I'm
I
conceding.
literally clarified that those numbers were obvious. That the calculation was obviously off.
Excuse me. To what?
The calculation that we did to figure out how there was no need to fucking figure out how many of that 40,000 people were fucking were civilians. It was all the
You
calculate
told
that
me.
calculation was already done.
You told me that it's one. I you told me that it's 1 to 1. You told me. I asked you the number.
Doesn't matter. More than half of that shit was fucking civilians. I don't care, hey, bro. It's
Yeah,
fucking
it's
30.
war.
Hey, bro,
It's war. It's war.
it's
It's not
war.
good. No
It's
one said war
war.
is good.
Yeah, no shit. Okay, exactly. Now let's talk about who fucking started it. When I look at who fucking started
Who the
it,
fuck do you
as
think started it? Who
fucking
the fuck do you think started?
Israel.
Honestly, now, be honest.
Fucking Israel,
Israel
along with
started
Great
October
Britain.
7th.
Yes. No, not October fucking 7th. Well,
How did? o-
they fucking
How are you
if they didn't do what
treating
they
October
if they
7th
didn't
so
if
lightly?
everything before that never happened, there would have been no fucking October 7th, guaranteed. If they never did, if they there was no fucking conflict to begin with, there would have been no October 7th. I think that's pretty fucking it's a pretty obvious statement to say. It's almost a fucking straw man that you should just say yes.
Okay. Are you saying that Palestinians have no agency of their own? Everything October 7th and this recent war started because Israel made it happen. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, they caused this.
So how did right? You're saying they caused it, but you're also saying that Palestinians have no agency of their own. They're just reacting to Israel. They're infants, really. They're just reacting to Israel, and they have no control over themselves.
Economically, absolutely, they're fucking infants.
Economically, in what sense? You're saying Gaza was poor
Yeah, they very much are. They
before
don't.
before this war. Before this war, Gaza was poor. Is that what you're saying?
No, not before the fucking war. I'm saying because of the fucking war, they're fucking economically disenfranchised like fuck. Absolutely.
They attacked in October 7th because Gaza was economically disenfranchised. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying yeah, yes. October 7th, they were economically disenfranchised, and they were
Why do
being
you
oppressed
believe
by
that?
Israel.
Why do you believe that?
It's not that I believe it; that it's just a fact. They had the blockade up, correct?
Okay, so if
If
I
the
w-
blockade is up,
okay, if I were
why
to share with you,
why was the blockade up before October 7th? Why don't you answer me that?
the blockade was up before October 7th so the Palestinians wouldn't kill Israelis.
Well, based off what?
Historical evidence?
Oh, historical fucking evidence. Get that shit the fuck. You're fucking full of shit. We had to keep the wall up so that they couldn't do an October 7th before they did an October 7th. That's fucking bullshit.
Why was why was there a wall to begin with? Because there wasn't a wall there in the 70s.
Because of fucking Britain.
No, No, no. Oh my god. I'm telling you right now, there was no wall, there was no border in the 70s or the 80s. So why did Israel feel the need to erect one?
What'd you say?
I'm saying there was no border, both in Gaza and in the West Bank, by the way. There was no borders there in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, so why did is and this is after Britain left. So why did Israel feel the need to erect a wall, erect a border?
Why did it? Because they're exerting their fucking oppression over them.
Any other reason? Any other reason?
Oh, because of security. It's such a these
Oh,
Palestinians are such a
security.
security threat.
Oh,
They're
that
such a
makes sense.
security threat. They're
Yeah.
Arabs, so that they must be fucking dangerous with their fucking Muslim beliefs, right? Is that the
So
reasoning behind it?
okay, so let's give an example, right? So in the second Intifada, and this is something I'm more familiar with, uh, Palestinians from West Bank came into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem and blew up buses. Suicide bombers blew up buses, blew up cafes, restaurants. It was a very very dark time to be in Israel. Like there was conversations in Israel basically how do we solve this problem by how do we get Palestinians to not kill themselves and blow themselves up? And and once there was a wall, once there was
Hey,
I
you're
don't know
fucking, you're
I don't know why that's
hilarious.
funny.
It's because
Once there was a wall,
you're just definitely making shit up here. How do we get Palestinians to stop blowing themselves up? That is like, come on, bro. Like, how am I
that
not
was
supposed to
the
laugh
discussion.
at? How am I not supposed to laugh at that?
I honestly don't know what's funny. And once there was a border there,
What you're saying is funny.
100% of the suicide bombers stopped.
Hmm.
Is that helpful to understand why there's a wall there?
Well, was it because they were Palestinian? That's why we got to keep them out because they're from the West
It was
Bank.
because Palestinians went into Israel and killed people.
Palestinians or a certain group.
Well, either way, people from that area came out of that area, went into Israel proper, and killed people.
Wow, what a nice fucking oversimplification.
That's how security works. Then you put a border on it,
Yeah.
and the bombing
This
stopped.
is that's exactly how we approach security. Like in the United States, we say, yeah, there's a group of people right there. We need to protect ourselves from that group of people, from this place. They're from this place. That's how we approach it, 100%. It's not like
Well,
we see if they're like organizationally or affiliated or anything like that. You know, like
I'm not.
there's some like,
Can you just get to a point?
well, you're oversimplifying it because you're basing this off of nationality. You're saying the
People who believe in a
Palestinians.
certain
You won't
look,
say
I don't
Hamas. You won't say Hamas.
I don't Hamas isn't in the West Bank.
Uh, Okay, so then what's your fucking issue with the Palestinians in the West Bank?
I'm sure some of them are fine, but either way, some of them have a particular ideology that says, I'm going to blow myself up and I'm going to go to heaven and God's going to be really pleased with me if I go and slaughter Jews. And
Oh, so
it's
we
not
get to
good.
just discriminate against an entire group of people.
Yeah, it's kind
Get
of
the
I'm
what?
sorry to
Wait,
say,
you just said it.
you
You
put
just
the
said
ball.
it. You just said it. I
Yeah, but
heard you just said yes.
bear in mind, bear in mind,
You just
bear in
said
mind,
yes.
this group.
So wait. No. Pause. Pause. So do
What do
we?
you want
No,
us
no,
to
no.
do? What do you
No,
want us to do? Just accept the bomb, the suicide
I want
bombers?
to
What
pause
would
at
you
what
do?
you just said because
Okay.
should we have been able to like fucking when 9/11 happened, since I'm an American, right? Does that give us as Americans the right to fucking go nuke the Middle East because there might be more Muslims over there to fucking do another 9/11? That's the most fucking
Well,
racist, Islamophobic fucking logic I could ever fucking think of.
I was talking about a wall. I wasn't talking about nuking anyone.
Yeah, but it's a fucking comparison with a hyperbole thrown in there.
It's not comparable at all. Sorry.
Well, actually, it is. It is
I'm saying
because
you
no, no,
you
no, no,
put
no.
a
Shut up,
border.
shut up.
You put
It
a
is
border,
comparable because Israel has
and then you
dropped the
check.
equivalent of 2 nuclear bombs on Gaza. So it is
But
fucking comparable.
it did not drop 2 nuclear bombs on
I
Gaza.
said the equivalent of dickhead. Come on, keep up.
It did not drop. It still didn't drop 2 nuclear bombs on Gaza. I don't even know if that's
The
actually what you're saying.
equivalent
But
of.
once,
Do
but the
not hear the
point,
words coming out of the mouth. My man.
I
The
don't
equivalent
agree. I don't
of
agree that it
two
is
nuclear
equivalent. I don't
bombs.
agree. I don't
Energy
agree.
wise.
I think that's hyperbole.
That's not
I don't.
hyperbole.
I don't agree with
That's
that
based off
assessment.
an article. I could
Okay,
tell
I
you.
don't. I think it's hyperbole.
It's not hyperbole.
Putting a wall between
It's not a
one nation
hyperbole. If you added up
can,
all of the
can I just
missile
finish? Putting a
strikes,
wall between
nope.
one nation
I'm
and,
gonna say what I'm gonna say because you've been talking for a long fucking time. If you added up all the fucking
well,
missile
I
strikes,
just want to talk some
if you
sense.
added
I
up
just want to talk
all the
some
missile
sense.
strikes and put them together, they would equivalent
I
the amount of 2 nuclear bombs. That
I
would be
don't
the
agree.
equivalent.
I don't agree.
Okay, you can sit here and you
Because
cannot
bear in
agree
mind, you
all you
dropped two
want.
nuclear bombs. You guys dropped 2 nuclear bombs on Japan, and
Okay.
that was like equivalent. That was like it's very difficult to top that in terms of like actual TNT. But what I am saying, if you put in a border, security border between two different nations, where one nation has proved to be hostile to the other, then at the very least you screen people from coming in, and you can prevent suicide bombs from harming your own citizens. That is what the job of a country
Mhm.
is supposed to do: protect its citizens.
Yeah, and go out of their way to go into another territory and just fucking
That's only
slaughter
once
anyone that
they
might be from
started
that
the war.
religion, right? Yeah, so we're
That's
gonna
hyperbole
finish it,
and a
right?
lie.
We're
That's a
gonna
blood
finish
libel.
it. They
That's a
started
blood
it, we're
libel.
gonna
That's a
finish
blood
it. That's
libel.
your logic, right? They started it, we're
That's a
gonna
blood
finish it.
libel.
Yeah, that's what you're
That is a
saying.
blood libel.
That's
No,
is that what you're saying? What are you saying?
I already explained very clearly what I said. We're talking about the border, right? That's why the border was erected.
I don't know. It sounds like a bunch of bad faith coming from you.
It sounds racist, doesn't it? Oh my god, it's so
I said
racist.
it sounds
When
bad
people are trying to
faith.
kill your citizens, you put security. It's bad faith. Okay.
You're just a liar. Like you're
We're
not.
just nuking. We're nuking everyone. Oh my god.
That's not what I said. I said the equivalent of 2 nuclear bombs.
It's equivalent of nuking everything. That's we go to another country, we nuke it. I just put a fucking border. That's what I said.
You put a fucking boulder. What are you saying, dude?
It's the same thing.
I can't hear you. You're
Border.
thinking I was talking.
Border.
You can't fucking speak proper
B
English.
O R.
You
Yeah,
can't.
not proper American, sure. B
Yeah.
O
You
R
obviously
D
fucking
E R.
can't. They're fucking scones. Why don't you go sip on some fucking tea, you British fuck, or whatever the fuck you are?
We like our scones and our tea is amazing.
Yeah, I know you do.
Best in the world.
And bloody
All the way
hell,
from India.
bloody hell.
Indeed.
The fuck. Why don't you go purchase some fucking aluminium? How about that?
Eh? Aluminium. You
Yeah.
want me to say potato or potato?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I want you to say at this point because you just got a lot of bullshit coming
Anyway,
out of your mouth right now.
uh-huh. Yeah, okay. So on the broad scope of things, right? I can explain why there's a border. I've demonstrated that the casualties are low. I've tried to demonstrate the reasons that and the Palestinians will never agree to share the land with Israel. I don't think I've done a good job because I was at the beginning and we moved away of it. But I don't have any reason to believe, and I was a lefty when I was younger. I was vegan as well, still vegan. Um, to believe
Stupid.
that the Palestinians want a two-state solution. I don't see that happening. I don't see that they want one. I don't think they want to share the land with. I think they want to kill or seriously like expel all the Jews from Israel. And I have my reasons for that, I guess, which I haven't been able to express here. And with regards to starvation, I said the numbers themselves, that the responsibility of Israel to let the aid go through the borders, and that's it. They're not supposed to distribute it. That's not on them. They've done so. If there was a complication with the distribution, that one side of Gaza got a lot, the other didn't, I can I can agree that that could happen. But that's again not Israel. Israel is not tasked with feeding a hostile enemy that's trying to attack it. It has international agreements, which is to facilitate aid. It has done those agreements, and it's recorded the numbers of trucks that went in. All those are recorded every day. It's all visible to everyone. I hope, on the grand scheme of things, that I was able to demonstrate that in this conversation.
Not quite. Not quite. I don't know. You want to move on to the next prop, or you want to end it here?
I'm probably gonna go to bed.
All right. Well, we can end it here. This is a more fun debate than last time. Last time was pretty boring.
Okay, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Oh, I definitely did. I like
Sorry,
I
this one was more fun than the last time, or
I
the other
will.
way around?
This one was more productive, but this one was more fun, and it's probably gonna get me more views, I think. So
Okay.
yeah. All right. Well, I'll catch you on the flip side.
Okay. Bye.